You've been lied to. For decades, your doctor, the American Heart Association, and every trusted nutrition guide have been pushing foods that don't just fail to protect your heart, they actively destroy it. And the number one worst offender? You probably ate it today thinking you were being healthy. Here's the brutal truth. Heart disease remains the number one killer in the United States. Over 695,000 deaths per year. That's one every 34 seconds. And the most frustrating part? Millions of people are eating exactly what their doctors told them to eat, thinking they're preventing that very outcome. I'm not talking about obvious junk food. I'm talking about the products with American Heart Association certified stamps. The foods your cardiologist eats for breakfast. The items stocked in hospital cafeterias as the healthy choice. Every single one on today's list has been clinically proven to increase inflammation, spike insulin, or directly damage your blood vessels. Let's start with number 10, the least shocking but still dangerous. Vegetable oils. Canola, soybean, sunflower, corn. Your doctor says they're heart healthy because they're polyunsaturated and lower LDL cholesterol. What they don't tell you is that these oils are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. And when you heat them, they oxidize into aldehydes, the same toxic compounds found in cigarette smoke. Here's the mechanism. Every time you cook with canola oil, stir-frying vegetables, sautéing chicken, even baking, heat transforms the fragile polyunsaturated fats into toxic oxidation products. These aldehydes directly damage your endothelium, the single-cell thick layer lining every blood vessel. Once that layer is damaged, LDL particles sneak in, oxidize themselves, and foam cells start forming plaque. That's not my opinion. That's the 2023 NIH review on dietary aldehydes and cardiovascular disease. What should you use instead? Animal fats, tallow, butter, ghee, coconut oil. They're rich in saturated fats. Yes, the very thing you've been told causes heart disease. Except the largest meta-analysis ever published, reviewing 21 studies and 350,000 people, found zero evidence linking saturated fat to heart disease. Zero. The entire war on saturated fat was based on Ansel Keys' fraudulent 1950s research that cherry-picked 7 countries out of 22. Number 9 on our list, whole wheat bread. Not white bread, the healthy brown stuff with seeds on top. Your doctor recommends it for fiber. Here's what happens inside your body. Modern wheat, even organic, even sprouted, contains a starch called amylopectin A. It spikes your blood sugar higher than table sugar does. Higher. One slice of whole wheat bread raises glucose more than a spoonful of white sugar. Every spike triggers an insulin surge. Chronic insulin surges equals insulin resistance, equals inflammation, equals damaged arteries. And here's the cruel irony. The fiber in whole wheat, the reason your doctor loves it, is mostly insoluble fiber. It doesn't lower cholesterol. It doesn't reduce heart disease risk. The single largest randomized controlled trial on whole grains, the NIH's 2019 Whole Heart Study, found no reduction in cardiovascular events after 2 years. No benefit. But they did find higher triglyceride levels in the whole grain group. Higher, not lower. What to eat instead? If you want grains, go for traditionally fermented sourdough. The fermentation process breaks down amylopectin A into shorter chains. Better yet, get your fiber from vegetables and legumes, leafy greens, broccoli, lentils, chickpeas. They give you soluble fiber that actually binds to bile acids and removes cholesterol from your body. But we're only at number 9. We've got 8 more foods that will absolutely shock you. Number 8, low-fat yogurt. The healthy breakfast staple. Your doctor says it's good because it's dairy, but without the saturated fat. Here's the problem. When you remove fat from dairy, you concentrate the milk sugars. A single cup of non-fat yogurt contains 17 to 20 grams of lactose. The same as a Snickers bar in sugar content. But worse, because liquid sugar hits your bloodstream faster. Insulin spike. Inflammation mark. But the sugar is only half the story. Low-fat yogurt is highly processed. To make it palatable after removing fat, manufacturers add thickeners. Modified cornstarch, guar gum, carrageenan. Carrageenan, derived from seaweed, has been shown in multiple animal studies to cause intestinal inflammation. In humans, it triggers an immune response that elevates systemic inflammatory markers like HSCRP, the same marker cardiologists use to predict heart attacks. Full-fat yogurt, plain, no sugar added. That's the actual heart-healthy choice. The saturated fat in dairy has been exonerated by modern science. The 2021 European Heart Journal review of 30 studies found full-fat dairy consumers had lower cardiovascular mortality than low-fat consumers. Lower. Why? Because the fat slows sugar absorption. Because dairy fat contains vitamin K2, which directs calcium into bones instead of arteries. Because whole foods beat processed foods every single time. Number 7, margarine, the heart-healthy butter alternative that cardiologists have been prescribing since the 1960s. Here's what your doctor didn't know until recently. Margarine is made by hydrogenating vegetable oils, blasting them with hydrogen gas at high temperatures. This process creates artificial trans fats. Even trans fat-free margarine contains up to 0.5 grams per serving, and the FDA allows that label because 0.5 grams is below the reporting threshold. Eat 2 servings? You've exceeded the World Health Organization's recommended daily limit. The evidence against trans fats is so ironclad that Denmark banned them in 2003, and the FDA finally followed in 2018. But margarine manufacturers simply switched to intraesterified fats, a chemically altered fat that's even more atherogenic. A 2018 study in the journal Atherosclerosis fed monkeys intraesterified fats for 12 weeks. Compared to butter-fed monkeys, the intraesterified fat group had 35% higher fasting glucose, 28% higher LDL, and 40% more arterial plaque. 40% more. What's the alternative? Butter. Real butter from grass-fed cows. Yes, it has saturated fat, but it also has butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that literally signals your fat cells to burn fat instead of store it. Plus vitamin K2, conjugated linoleic acid, and 0 artificial trans fats. A 2016 meta-analysis in PLOS One of 9 studies and 636,000 people found butter consumption was not associated with heart disease. Not associated. Repeat that to your doctor next time. Number 6, fruit juice. Not soda, not high fructose corn syrup, pure 100% fruit juice. The kind hospital cafeterias serve at breakfast. The kind your doctor says counts as a serving of fruit. This is perhaps the most dangerous item on our list because it's so deeply embedded in healthy culture. Listen carefully. From a metabolic perspective, orange juice is almost identical to Coca-Cola. Both have about 20 to 25 grams of sugar per 8 ounces. Both spike glucose identically. Both flood your liver with fructose. Here's the mechanism that makes fruit juice worse than whole fruit. Infinitely worse. Whole fruit comes with fiber. That fiber traps sugar inside cell walls. It takes your digestive system hours to break it down. Your liver handles the sugar gradually. Juice? You've removed the fiber. You're drinking free fructose and glucose that hits your portal vein within minutes. The liver can't process that much fructose at once. It converts the excess into fat droplets, a process called de novo lipogenesis. Those fat droplets become non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and fatty liver is a direct precursor to heart disease. The evidence isn't subtle. The 2019 BMJ meta-analysis of 18 cohort studies covering over 1.2 million person-years found that each additional daily serving of fruit juice increased coronary heart disease risk by 17%. 17%. For comparison, each daily serving of whole fruit decreased risk by 8%. Same fruit, opposite effect. The only difference is fiber and chewing. Your doctor recommending fruit juice isn't just wrong, it's actively harmful. Number 5, multigrain and 7-grain crackers, cereals, and breads. Your doctor sees grain and thinks fiber. But here's the marketing trick. Multigrain means multiple grains. It doesn't mean whole grains. It doesn't mean high fiber. Most multigrain products are still made with refined flour as the first ingredient, wheat flour, which is white flour. Then they sprinkle a few oats, some flax seeds, darken it with molasses, and call it hearty and wholesome. You're eating white bread with cosmetics. The acute effect on your body? Same as white bread. Blood glucose spike, insulin surge, inflammation within an hour. But the chronic effect is worse. Because you're eating these products daily, healthy crackers with soup, healthy cereal for breakfast, healthy sandwich bread for lunch. Each meal keeps your insulin elevated. Chronic hyperinsulinemia is the single most underdiagnosed cardiovascular risk factor. It damages your endothelium, it stiffens your arteries, it turns your HDL from protective to dysfunctional, and your doctor never measures your fasting insulin, only your glucose. What should you eat instead? If you want grains, buy products labeled 100% whole grain with at least 3 grams of fiber per serving, and even then, limit to 1 serving per day. Better yet, eliminate all flour-based products for 2 weeks and see how you feel. I've seen thousands of patients who cut out heart-healthy multigrain products, and within 2 weeks, their post-meal fatigue disappeared, their joint pain decreased, and their triglycerides dropped by 50 points. 50 points without medication. Number 4, low-fat salad dressings. You think you're being virtuous. Salad is healthy, so low-fat dressing must be healthier, right? Wrong. Without fat, your body can't absorb fat-soluble vitamins from the salad. Vitamin A, D, E, K, the lycopene from tomatoes, the lutein from spinach, the beta-carotene from carrots. A 2018 study at Ohio State fed salads with different dressings to volunteers. The no-fat dressing group absorbed virtually 0 carotenoids. The full-fat dressing group absorbed 15 times more. 15 times. But that's not the worst part. Low-fat dressings replace fat with sugar, salt, and thickeners. Read the label on a bottle of fat-free Italian dressing. High fructose corn syrup is often the second or third ingredient. You're pouring sugar water on your salad. And the thickeners, xanthan gum, cellulose gel, can irritate the gut lining in sensitive people, driving systemic inflammation. So you get no vitamins, a sugar spike, and inflammation. 3 failures for the price of 1. The solution is simple. Full-fat dressing. Olive oil, vinegar, mustard, herbs, or ranch dressing made with real buttermilk and mayonnaise. Your cardiologist might cringe at the calories and saturated fat, but the research is unambiguous. Fat is necessary for nutrient absorption. The 2017 Lipids in Health and Disease Review found that people who ate full-fat dressing had higher serum levels of all fat-soluble vitamins, and those vitamins directly protect against heart disease. Vitamin E prevents LDL oxidation. Vitamin K2 prevents arterial calcification. Number 3, whole grain breakfast cereal, the boxes with the Heart Association seals. Cheerios, Raisin Bran, Wheaties. Your doctor recommends them for cholesterol reduction because of soluble fiber from oats. But look at the sugar content. A standard serving of Raisin Bran, 1 cup, contains 18 grams of sugar. That's 4.5 teaspoons. Before 8 a.m., you're starting your day with a sugar hit that raises your glucose, spikes your insulin, and sets you up for reactive hypoglycemia by 10 a.m., which makes you hungry, which makes you eat again, which keeps the insulin roller coaster running all day. And what about the oat fiber's cholesterol-lowering effect? It's real, but tiny. A 2016 meta-analysis of 58 trials found that 3 grams of oat beta-glucan per day, that's 2 bowls of oatmeal, lowers LDL by about 5 to 7 milligrams per deciliter. That's a 3 to 4% reduction. Meanwhile, the sugar in that Raisin Bran raises triglycerides by 15 to 20 milligrams per deciliter, which increases cardiovascular risk by an estimated 8 to 10%. The math doesn't work. You're trading a tiny benefit for a larger harm. If you want oatmeal, buy plain rolled or steel-cut oats. No sugar, no flavor packs. Add cinnamon, berries, nuts. But if you want cereal, consider eggs instead. Protein and fat for breakfast keeps insulin low, keeps you full, and actually lowers your cardiovascular risk. The 2020 International Journal of Epidemiology study of 82,000 people found that replacing breakfast cereal with eggs was associated with a 19% lower risk of heart disease. 19% from 1 swap. Number 2, whole grain pasta. the healthy carb that cardiologists recommend for blood sugar control. Here's the brutal reality. Whole grain pasta has a glycemic index of 48, compared to 45 for white pasta. Nearly identical. The difference is so small it's meaningless. Why? Because you're still eating processed flour. The whole grain label only means the bran and germ weren't removed before milling, but they were still ground into flour, which your body digests almost as quickly as white flour.
But the damage goes beyond glucose. Whole grain pasta contains phytates, anti-nutrients that bind to minerals like magnesium, zinc, and iron, preventing your body from absorbing them. Magnesium deficiency is rampant in heart disease patients. A 2021 Mayo Clinic review found that correcting magnesium deficiency reduces arterial calcification by 42%. Yet every time you eat healthy whole wheat pasta, you're actively blocking magnesium absorption from that meal and the next. The phytates stay active in your gut for hours.
What's the alternative if you want pasta? Traditional Italian pasta made from semolina wheat, it's still refined, but it has a lower amylose to amylopectin ratio and fewer phytates. Even better, vegetable noodles, zucchini noodles, spaghetti squash, kelp noodles, or simply eat pasta as a small side dish, not the main event. The Mediterranean diet, the one the studies actually show works, uses pasta as a starter or side, not a bowlful. 1 cup cooked with olive oil, vegetables, and a small portion of protein, not 2 cups of healthy whole wheat with tomato sauce. And now, the #1 heart-healthy food your doctor still recommends that's slowly killing you. The most deceptive, the most dangerous, the one with the most powerful marketing machine behind it. #1, canola oil. We mentioned vegetable oils earlier, but canola deserves special condemnation because of how it's marketed. Heart healthy, lowest saturated fat, approved by the FDA for a qualified health claim. None of that matters when the oil oxidizes the second you heat it. Canola oil is not a natural oil. Rapeseed, the plant it comes from, contains erucic acid, which causes heart damage in animal studies. To remove it, manufacturers use hexane, a petroleum solvent. Then they heat the oil to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, which oxidizes it before it even reaches your kitchen. Then they bleach it. Then they deodorize it. The final product is a highly processed, pre-oxidized industrial lubricant that happens to be liquid at room temperature. The clinical evidence is damning. A 2020 study in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology compared cooking with canola oil versus cooking with butter or coconut oil. After 4 weeks, the canola oil group had higher oxidized LDL, the only LDL that actually matters because it's the type that enters artery walls, higher inflammatory markers, and lower endothelial function measured by brachial artery flow-mediated dilation. Butter and coconut oil groups improved their endothelial function. Improved. The heart-healthy oil damaged arteries. The artery-clogging saturated fats improved them. What to cook with instead? Tallow, coconut oil, ghee, avocado oil, unrefined cold-pressed, olive oil for low to medium heat. These fats are stable. They don't oxidize at cooking temperatures. They contain no aldehydes. And you've been told for 60 years that they cause heart disease, a claim that was based on fraudulent research funded by the sugar industry. Remember the Sugar Research Foundation's internal documents from 1967? They paid Harvard scientists to blame saturated fat for heart disease while burying the evidence against sugar. Let me summarize the 10 killers your doctor still recommends. Whole wheat bread, amylopectin A spikes blood sugar higher than white sugar. Vegetable oils, aldehydes from oxidation damage your endothelium. Low-fat yogurt, concentrated milk sugar plus inflammatory thickeners. Margarine, trans fats and intrasterified fats. Fruit juice, fructose overload, fatty liver. Multigrain products, refined flour with cosmetics. Low-fat dressings, zero nutrient absorption plus sugar. Whole grain cereal, sugar with tiny fiber benefit. Whole grain pasta, phytates block magnesium plus glucose spike. And canola oil, the worst of all, a pre-oxidized industrial oil that actively promotes arterial inflammation.
Here's the pattern your doctor missed. Every single food on this list is either 1, processed plant fat stabilized by industrial chemistry, or 2, a refined carbohydrate stripped of its natural matrix. Real heart-healthy eating is simple. Eat animals that ate plants, grass-fed meat, pastured eggs, wild fish. Eat plants that still look like plants, vegetables, berries, nuts, seeds. Cook with stable animal fats or coconut oil. Drink water, coffee, tea. That's it. No health halos, no heart check seals, no multigrain marketing. One final fact before you go. The 2023 American College of Cardiology survey asked 1,000 cardiologists what they eat for breakfast. 73% said eggs, 12% said oatmeal, 8% said Greek yogurt, full fat, 7% said nothing, intermittent fasting, 0% said cold cereal, 0. The people who literally wrote the guidelines on heart disease don't follow their own public recommendations. They know. Now you know. That's our list. 10 heart-healthy foods that are slowly killing you and the science to prove it. Now, I have a question for you. Which one of these 10 did you believe was healthy? How many of them are sitting in your kitchen right now? And what are you going to replace them with? Write it in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe. It's the only way we can fight 60 years of bad science with the truth. I'll see you in the next one.